Hey there, Mr. Sharp and Mr. Shoe. I'm here trying to make a quick video during nap time for Hitty, for Her First 100 Years by Rachel Field. This is my first Nerdbery finish, and I started off with Nerdbery. I thought I was going to start off with everyone and read the story of mankind. I just couldn't force myself to continue, so I let myself abandon the story of mankind. And then the next title I picked for myself was Hitty. I was drawn to it because it was a doll story, and I was a kid who really wanted to be a believer that dolls and stuffed animals had feelings and could remember things. And this was my sort of Hitty doll growing up. This was my baby doll when I was very young, and this is an outfit that my mom made for this doll. So I just thought I'd have my Hitty in the video about Hitty. And I was drawn to this because it was a story from the perspective of a doll, and I was also surprised by all her adventures as I went through the story. I was surprised that it starts off and suddenly we're on a whaling ship having an adventure. I could really see how this would appeal to kids of 1930 and afterwards, be a book that kids would really remember and love and enjoy. My only problem with the book was the clear racist perspectives. Any people of color in the book, they tend to be savages or horrible or indecent or portrayed as unintelligent, which I would have hesitation putting this book in the hands of students today just because of those perspectives, and without giving some backgrounding or having a discussion about that before reading the book, giving some historical context there. But one thing that I did find in my school library was this new retelling of Rachel Field's Hitty done by Rosemary Wells and Susan Jeffers. And it was really fun to look through this book after reading the original Hitty and seeing these new color illustrations that Susan Jeffers did, and reading the note to the reader at the beginning about how this book came about from Rosemary Wells and Susan Jeffers' love of the original Hitty. And originally, Rosemary Wells didn't want to change the story at all, but then realized that Hitty really hadn't been read for the last 30 years, and maybe this was an opportunity to give her a little update. So lots of great new pictures of Hitty and pictures that really illustrate the story. There are a few changes to the story, like Rosemary Wells describes how there she meets Abraham Lincoln instead of Charles Dickens in this version. But at one point in the original story, one of the characters thinks of sending Hitty down to the South during the Civil War, and Rosemary Wells thought, what if that really did happen? And so that plays out a little bit in this version of the story. But wonderful to look at some other interpretations of what the story of Hitty could look like. So I enjoyed finding that in my library and taking a look at this one. And I think one of the other things that I loved about reading Hitty is that it reminded me of so many other great stories from a doll's perspective or a stuffed animal's perspective, like The Velveteen Rabbit, books that I really loved growing up, or Corduroy by Don Freeman, a book that I really loved as a kid about Corduroy from his perspective, and The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane, another fabulous story about a doll's journey, or very recently, The Friendship Doll by the fabulous Kirby Larson, another book that I really love from the perspective of a doll. So I'll leave it right there with my Hitty and say, have a great day and happy reading, everybody.